Okay, welcome, beautiful students. This is a little introduction to your culminating project for this last unit and hence the last assignment for the year. Yay, applause, clapping. Really, I designed this project to reflect what you've been doing throughout the entire unit, the entire dramatic unit, and then it also kind of culminates everything that you've learned throughout the year. And so, if you follow these steps, it should be pretty self explanatory. The first thing you want to do is look at the essential question to analyze in your project. And if you look at step one, it says to answer the essential question in a complete sentence. Put some thought into the answer, and your sentence should be thorough and thought provoking. So, for instance, when you look at this question, it says, how does the author's use of literary and dramatic elements give the reader a better understanding or insight to the piece of literature? So, specifically, you want to look at the author's use of elements and how do they give better understanding or insight. Okay? And that's really what you're exploring throughout this entire piece. So, go ahead and answer that question first. And then, what you're going to do is go ahead and gather research for support of that question. And what you're going to do is you're going to research 5 literary or dramatic elements and you basically use them for support. So the first thing you need to do is identify 5 literary or dramatic elements in the piece. And there's several of them. So you've already done work on, I think, 5 or 6 of them that you can choose from. But if there's something else that you would like to incorporate, please do so. Next thing you want to do is find a direct quote for support. So you're going to end up with 5 direct quotes, 1 for each element that you choose. Make sure that you're citing it with the act and the scene. And then you're going to go ahead and explain how Rostand's use of that element supports your answer to this question. So basically, how does his use of that literary element give you a better understanding or insight to his dramatic piece, Cyrano de Bergerac? Okay. I went ahead and gave you an example down here, and I used character foil, and you'll notice this is the example that I also used on one of my worksheets. I definitely want to use character foil. I think it's a prominent element in Cyrano de Bergerac and most drama. And here I cited the conversation between Labray and Cyrano. Now notice these lines here shows that I skipped a bunch of lines in between this conversation to really just highlight specifically the character foil. And then I went ahead and made notes as to how this character foil deepens the reader's understanding of the piece itself. Now, when it comes to your research, I am not collecting the research. So however you want to put this together, it's up to you. Use the most efficient possible way, and hopefully that'll cut down on time for this project. So once you've identified, supported 5 different literary or dramatic elements, I'd like you to go ahead and research appropriate images and pics that can connect to each element. And this is where you can be creative. Okay? So choose wisely, make sure that they apply appropriately to the content of your page for this project. And once you've done the research, you're going to go ahead and do the third step, which is complete the project. Now, this is where you can also be creative. I know that you've used several different apps throughout this year to complete projects, not only in my class, but other classes too. So whatever you feel most comfortable with, right? You can use Keynote, you can use Pages, iMovie, or if there's another platform. But you have to remember that you have to be able to organize your project in an appropriate way. And this is the key here. It has to be able to upload to Schoology. Now, I know some of you had difficulty uploading your iBooks that you created for your poetry project. And the reason why it was important that you uploaded the iBook correctly is because I need the audio commentary. So keep that in mind, that you're going to have to choose an app that will allow for you to upload that audio commentary. We'll get to that in just a second. So depending on what you choose, right, you can order or organize in this fashion, right? You got to have a title page with your full name. Make sure it's creative, okay? Focus on what it is that maybe you've realized is the main point of Rostand's use for these literary elements. The second page is going to be both the question, the essential question, and your answer. And again, this answer should be a complete, thorough sentence that gives some insight. The interior pages you can organize in any way, shape, or form you feel is the most, I guess, appropriate. But you're going to incorporate your research from step 2, right? But make sure that you realize, right, you're going to have on the pages the literary element and the direct quote cited, right, for that element. But the explanation is not written. It is going to be video or auditory commentary that's attached to that page. In addition, you should have a picture or a graphic or more than one on each page if possible. Finally, your last page should be the works cited of the actual text, and I'd like you to leave some final comments on your overall understanding of the importance of the essential question. So really kind of like a conclusion, but it is auditory or video commentary that ties everything together. The last thing you want to do is submit your project to Schoology, and attached is your rubric that I will be using to grade your 100-point project. If you have any other questions, please let me know, email me. Otherwise, get to work, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.